You teach your child to be kind, to share their toys, to respect others, even when they disagree. You show them how to be a good person in a small world of friends and family. Across town, a group of people sit in a clean, quiet room. They have never met you. They do not know your child's name. They look at numbers on a screen. With a simple vote, they make a choice about profit and risk. This choice will decide the quality of the air your family breathes for the next 20 years. Your child learns to be good. But the world they live in was not built by good people. It was built by systems. And systems do not understand kindness. They do not respond to respect. They only understand their own rules. This is the story of why your goodness is not enough. From our first day, we are taught a simple code. Be nice, be fair, treat others the way you want to be treated. This is the golden rule, and it is the glue that holds our small worlds together. It is the language of our homes, our friendships, and our neighborhoods. When a friend is sad, you offer comfort. When a neighbor needs help, you offer your time. When someone makes a mistake, you offer forgiveness. This code works. We see it work every day. A shared smile with a stranger can make a hard day feel a little lighter. A respectful conversation can solve a misunderstanding before it grows into a fight. We learn that harmony is good and conflict is bad. The goal is to make things smooth, to find common ground, to bring people together. The heroes of our childhood stories are the peacemakers, the healers, the ones who listen and understand. The villains are the ones who are selfish, cruel, and refuse to cooperate. This teaching runs deep. It feels like a fundamental truth of the world. Love is the answer. If only everyone could learn to respect each other, our problems would disappear. We imagine a world where leaders of nations could just sit down, talk honestly, and find a solution that works for everyone. We see huge, complex issues and believe they could be solved if people would just stop shouting and start listening. This belief is comfortable. It gives us a sense of control. If the problem is just a lack of kindness, then the solution is simple. We can all be a part of the solution by being better people. We see this idea everywhere, in songs, in movies, in speeches. We are told to choose love over hate, to build bridges, not walls. And on a person-to-person level, this is excellent advice. It is how you build a family. It is how you keep a friendship. It is how you create a community where people feel safe and valued. We pour our energy into being good individuals. We teach it to our children. We judge our neighbors by this standard. We have built our entire moral world on the idea that personal goodness, when practiced by enough people, will fix the world. We believe in the power of a good heart, and we have been taught that this is the most powerful force for change there is. For generations, this has been the accepted truth, but that truth has a limit. There is a line where it stops working. The world of people is small. The world of power is large. And the rules are different. Our personal world is run by emotion, morality, and connection. The larger world is run by systems. And a system is not a person. It cannot feel. It cannot care. And it will not love you back. Let's start with a corporation. A corporation is not a group of people, not really. It is a legal structure, a piece of paper. Its main purpose, written into its very DNA, is to create profit for its shareholders. It is a machine designed for one task: make money. The people inside the machine might be good people. They might love their families, donate to charity, and help their neighbors. But inside the machine, they have a different job. Their job is to serve the machine's goal. If a choice helps the machine make more money, the machine sees it as good. If a choice makes the machine lose money, the machine sees it as bad. That is the entire calculation. It has nothing to do with right or wrong, kind or cruel. Imagine you are standing by a river, and you ask a factory to please stop polluting the water. You are speaking the language of a person. You are talking about clean water for children, about the health of the planet. The factory is a system. It only hears the language of cost. To the factory, your request sounds like this: please spend millions of dollars to change your process, which will reduce your profits. The system's programming will almost always lead to one answer: no. It is not being mean. It is being logical, according to its own rules. You are trying to have a conversation about morality with a calculator. It simply cannot understand what you are saying. The same is true for government. A bureaucracy is a system. It is a complex web of rules and procedures. It is designed for order and control, not for compassion. Have you ever tried to solve a problem with a large government agency? You find yourself talking to person after person, filling out form after form. The people you talk to may want to help you. They might be kind and patient, but they are trapped inside the system, just like you are. They can only do what the rules allow. They cannot make an exception, even if your situation is desperate. The system is not designed to be flexible. It is designed to be consistent. You can appeal to a person's sense of fairness, but a bureaucracy has no sense of fairness. It only has procedures. Your personal story, your pain, your unique situation, these are all human things. The system sees them as data points that either fit into a box or do not. If your situation does not fit the pre-approved boxes on the form, then to the system, your situation does not exist. You are asking for respect from a filing cabinet. You are asking for understanding from a rulebook. The system is not your friend. It is not your enemy. It is just a machine doing its job. Then there are the new systems, the ones made of code. An algorithm decides what news you see, what jobs you are offered, even who you might date. These algorithms are not neutral. They are designed by people and companies with specific goals. A social media algorithm is not designed to make you happy or well-informed. It is designed to keep your eyes on the screen for as long as possible, so you see more ads. It learns what makes you angry, what makes you scared, and what makes you argue. Then, it shows you more of that, because anger and fear are powerful ways to hold your attention. You cannot reason with an algorithm. You cannot ask it to be more respectful of your mental health. It is a string of code following a command. It is a silent, invisible force shaping your reality based on a cold, commercial goal. It does not know you. It does not care about you. It only sees a pattern of clicks, and its job is to optimize that pattern. We live our lives surrounded by these powerful, unfeeling systems. Corporations, bureaucracies, algorithms, they form a hidden architecture that controls much of our world. And we keep trying to talk to them like they are people. We keep hoping they will learn to be kind. This is the fundamental mistake. We are using the wrong tools for the job. So if systems are unfeeling machines, why do we keep treating them like people? Why do we insist that love or good vibes can fix them? The answer is simple. It is because the alternative is terrifying. To admit that the world is run by giant, impersonal systems is to admit that we, as individuals, are not very powerful. This is a difficult and painful feeling. It makes us feel small. It makes us feel helpless. And the human mind has developed a very clever way to protect itself from this feeling. It is a defense mechanism. It is easier to believe the problem is a lack of love than to face the reality of a power imbalance. This is a form of avoidance. We could call it spiritual bypassing. It is when we use spiritual or positive ideas to sidestep difficult issues. Instead of dealing with the messy, complicated reality of a problem, we float above it on a cloud of nice thoughts. For example, learning about a global crisis is hard. It involves reading long reports, understanding complex economics, and facing the fact that powerful forces are at work. This is stressful. It can lead to anxiety and a sense of doom. What is easier? It is easier to post a message online that says, "Sending love to everyone involved." It is easier to say, "The world just needs to raise its consciousness." These actions are not bad, but they allow us to feel like we have done something good without actually having to do anything difficult. They provide emotional relief. We get to feel compassionate and caring, but we avoid the tough work of confronting the system that caused the crisis in the first place. It is a way of calming our own anxiety. We are not really trying to fix the problem in the world, we are trying to fix the bad feeling inside ourselves. This is a very human thing to do. When a problem seems too big, our minds naturally look for an escape route. The idea that all we need is more positivity is a very appealing escape. It turns a complex external problem into a simple internal one. The problem is no longer a system of laws and economics that benefits a few at the expense of many. The problem is just a bad attitude. And attitudes are easy to change. We can meditate. We can be mindful. We can choose to be happy. This puts the responsibility back on us, but in a way that feels manageable. It is much easier to work on our own thoughts than it is to work on changing a law. It also protects our view of the world as a just and fair place. If good things happen to good people and bad things happen to bad people, the world makes sense. But systemic problems break this rule. A good person can lose their home because of a financial crisis created by people they have never met. A whole community can get sick because a company decided it was cheaper to pollute than to be safe. These facts are ugly. They suggest the world is not fair. So, we find ways to reinterpret them. We might say, well, people should just have a more positive outlook. This subtly blames the victim. It suggests that their suffering is, on some level, their own fault for not having the right mindset. It allows us to ignore the injustice because we have reframed it as a personal failing. It is a comfortable illusion. It keeps the scary truth at a distance. This desire for simple, positive solutions does not just comfort us. It is also used by those in power to protect their position. The call for niceness, for civility, can be turned into a tool of control. When a system is challenged, its first line of defense is often to criticize the tone of the challenger, not the substance of their argument. Imagine a group of people protesting a company that pays its workers very low wages. They are angry. They chant slogans. They block a street. They are disrupting the normal flow of things. The leaders of the company, or politicians who support it, will often appear in the media. They will not talk about the low wages. Instead, they will say something like, "We believe in the right to protest, but it needs to be done respectfully." Or, "We cannot have a productive conversation when there is so much anger and division." Notice what just happened. The conversation is no longer about people not being able to feed their families. The conversation is now about the protesters' tone. The protesters are now the ones who have to defend themselves. They are accused of being rude, angry, or divisive. The powerful group has successfully changed the subject. They have made the emotional reaction to the problem seem like the problem itself. This is a brilliant tactic. It works because we have all been taught that being respectful and calm is good. The system uses our own morality against us. The call for unity is another version of this. When people are demanding change, those in power will often say, "We need to come together. We are all on the same team." On the surface, this sounds wonderful. Who doesn't want unity? But what does it mean in this context? It often means, stop criticizing us. Stop pointing out the problem. Let's go back to the way things were, where everyone was quiet and we were in charge. Unity is a good thing when everyone is being treated fairly. But when one group is being harmed by another, a call for unity is really a call for the harmed group to shut up and accept their situation. It is a way of silencing dissent under the cover of a positive word. This puts the person or group demanding change in a difficult position. If they continue to protest, they are accused of being divisive and destroying unity. If they quiet down to be more respectful, their problem is ignored and nothing changes. They are trapped. The language of politeness is used as a cage. It redefines a cry for justice as a failure of manners. We see this in all kinds of debates. On issues of social change, the group with less power is almost always told to be nicer. You won't win anyone over by being so angry, they are told. But the history of real change shows this is not true. Major changes in society have rarely happened because people asked politely. They happened because people organized, they created pressure, and they were willing to be disruptive. They were willing to be seen as disrespectful by the standards of the time. They understood that you cannot be polite to a system that is hurting you. Politeness, in that context, is just surrender. The powerful count on you being polite. They count on you following the rules of civility. Because as long as you are playing that game, you are not playing the game of power. And that is the only game a system understands. If love, respect, and politeness are the wrong tools, what are the right ones? This is not a question with an easy answer. There is no simple instruction manual for changing a system. But we can start by changing the way we think. We must stop thinking like individuals and start thinking about mechanics. A system is a machine. To fix or change a machine, you do not talk to it. You find the levers. You find the gears. You learn how it works and where its pressure points are. The language a system understands is not morality. It is pressure. A corporation's goal is profit. It will only change its behavior when the cost of not changing becomes higher than the cost of changing. This can happen in several ways. Customers can organize and refuse to buy its products. This applies pressure to its profits. the government can pass new laws or regulations that force it to change. This applies legal pressure. A story in the news that makes the company look bad can harm its public image, which can also affect its bottom line. This is public pressure. Notice that none of these actions are about appealing to the company's conscience. They are about changing the math of its decisions. Similarly, a government system responds to pressure. It responds to large groups of organized voters. It responds to legal challenges that force it to follow or change its own rules. It responds to sustained public attention that makes ignoring a problem impossible. These actions require a different set of skills than being nice. They require organization. They require strategy. They require persistence. It is not about one person's voice. It is about many voices organized into a single, focused demand. This does not mean we should abandon our personal values. Kindness and respect are still the right tools for our personal lives. They are how we build strong relationships and healthy communities. A movement for change that is built on cruelty will fail. People need a sense of hope and shared purpose to keep going. But we must be clear about where those tools apply. You use a hammer for a nail and a wrench for a bolt. You use love for a person, and you use leverage for a system. The work of systemic change is slow, frustrating, and often boring. It involves meetings, research, fundraising, and organizing. It is not a single heroic act. It is the long, hard work of many people applying steady pressure over time. It requires a shift in our thinking. We must move from asking, "How can I be a good person?" to asking, "How does this system work, and where can we apply pressure to change it?" It is a move from the personal to the strategic. It is less about the purity of our hearts and more about the effectiveness of our actions. In the end, this is not a call to become cold or unkind. It is a call to become smarter. Keep your love, your compassion, and your respect. Use them where they work best with the people around you. They are the most important tools we have for building a life worth living. But do not confuse the map of your personal life with the map of the world. They are different territories with different rules. A system is not a friend to be won over. It is a structure to be understood. You do not change it by appealing to its heart, because it does not have one. You change it by finding its levers and its pressure points. True progress does not come from simply wishing for a better world. It comes from understanding the world as it is, and then choosing the right tools for the job. Knowing the difference is not cynicism. It is clarity, and clarity is the beginning of real power.